At peace when you sleep, for even then I stand over you, singing my song of deliverance. Yes, even when I hide you in the secret place of my presence, I surround you as a shield, and when you wake, you will see that I have kept you safe. For I have set you apart for myself, and nothing ever will separate us. We shall never be separate from God. We shall never be separate from God. And that is truly, Course in Miracles says it, we say it, all the spiritual teachings are saying the same thing, that the only thing we need to heal is the belief that we are separate from this powerful good, because we're not. We're not in reality. Just our senses make us feel, because we can see forms, so we feel that we're separate. But in reality, our souls are all connected in this oneness. And if nothing else is received from this lesson today, let it be that we all remember that we are not separate. We are not separate from God. So today we can start to close that seeming gap by resting in, trusting in, fully relying upon the presence of God. Really, really having that trust and faith. What might that look like for you? You know, we talk about this. What might it look like for you? And so, my example is when we started Joyful Gathering, which was not that long ago. We completely trusted that all of the needs would be met. Didn't even think about needs, actually. It always felt like the right thing to do. And I know that the Board of Trustees and myself fully trusted that all the bills would be paid, that the volunteers would come forward. We trusted in the highest good. We expected the highest good to unfold, and still do. We surrendered any doubts, found solutions for any challenges, because we believed in this higher power for good. And it is, and it was, and it is directing us. And it is allowing us to expand, to thrive, to be in community, which is my greatest joy in life, is to be in spiritual community. Love it. So, we frogged it. Remember? We frogged it. We fully relied on the power of God. We fully relied on God. So this idea of fully relying on God is about doing what we are called to do, and then completely letting go of the outcome. Easier said than done sometimes. But that's what's necessary. To do what we're called to do, but release the outcome. Don't get into it with the mind. Trusting and allowing this power that's greater than we are, to bring about the right and perfect circumstances, as Chris is doing. Bring about, we don't need that. Because we can't control the way things show up. What we can do is we can choose how to respond to the way things show up in our lives. We can set our intention, let God do the work. Because we don't know why a lot of things take place. But we trust that there is a power for good that's greater than we are. And that we are a part of it, though. That's it. We get to use it. We get to use it. When we don't do this, when we have to make things happen, it becomes a tremendous struggle. We're really in resistance to our good. And I'm sure many of you have had this little example, and it's something that happens quite often. It was on a day in the spring. I had a window open without the screen in it, and this big bee came flying in the window. And he's just buzzing all around, and I was just sitting there doing my studies, probably for a class, preparing for a class, and of course my attention went onto this bee. Well, the bee thought he found an exit, so he kept flying into this pane of glass. And every time he thought it was an exit, he flew even harder, came back and flew harder. You know, you ever hear of these insects? They make noise, you know, and then he fell to the ground. I know, that's not the end of the story. So I got a little piece of paper, and I took this little insect, this little bee outside, and just put him on the patio, and soon he flew away. He just because the freedom. But we do this. How many times does it feel that we're doing the same thing over and over again, flying into that pane of glass, trying to get our way because we know the right way. We know the way it's going to be done. And we just keep getting bumping our head, but we're going to keep doing it anyway. It's when we go down the other street, when we try a different way, a different exit, just letting it go and letting God. So, I once heard someone say that when I am worried and I have trouble sleeping, I turn my troubles over to God because I know He'll be awake anyway. So, we can do this. There's no sleep in God. Cool. God doesn't sleep. How can God sleep? So, God is too busy creating more and more. So, we can let go and let God. Turn it over to that power that doesn't sleep. It's always there. It's present all of the time. And in Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under that divine government and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. Never was there a cosmic famine. God is always God, no matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be. There is always something hidden in the inner being, which is us, we have an inner being, that has never been violated. We may stumble, he says, but always there is that eternal voice forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings. This is the thing itself. The thing itself, the power for good greater than we are. It's the thing that we need to learn to trust and rely on 100%, because it is always present and changeless, there to support us. So I want us to do this, to fully rely on God. Because where in your life are you being like a bee right now? I'm sure some of us have panes of glass that we keep bumping up against, struggling to make something happen, trying to get it happen, trying to control the whole situation, figure out, how do I use this power for good? How about in the next few moments then, you let the power